Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to another Soul Calibur video. Now today, due to last week's votes, I've decided to talk about the malevolent Tira from Soul Calibur. Now Tira appears quite late in the series, making her debut in Soul Calibur 3. But despite her late appearance, she certainly made an impression on fans, being one of the most popular characters within the series. Now Tira is of European descent, but the details are vague, as she wasn't exactly brought up in a normal family. You see, Tira was brought up in an assassin organization, one that is known as the Birds of Passage, a group of individuals that would kill a certain target and disfigure them upon their death to strike fear into their enemies and to assert their dominance in Europe. So because of this, the organization earned a very scary reputation. Now Tira grew up in the organization without an actual name. All she was given was a code name known as Eisen Drozel. Now within the organization, she was taught everything she knew by someone known as Mother Bird, and understandably over the course of time, this individual would become a parent-like figure for her. Now even as a child, Tira was surrounded by death and lost any form of remorse or emotion, becoming a killing machine, and by the age of 9 she was referred to as the Bird of Death. Now as Tira became older, Tira was in fact forced to kill her mother figure, as it was a somewhat rite of passage within the organization, but upon completing this task, the stress and trauma it had caused her made her develop a somewhat dual personality disorder, where she'd unknowingly switch out of being a calm and collected individual who'd carry out her hits with precision to a mass murdering psychopath who adored drowning herself in the blood of her enemies. And because of this random personality change, many individuals within the organization shunned her, seeing her as too much of a loose cannon. Now one day, an evil beam of energy would strike the entire organization, disintegrating the chain of command and giving Tira the opportunity she needed to leave the organization. Now during this period of time, Tira was still somewhat emotionally distraught, but was eventually adopted by a family, who were the ones in fact responsible for giving her the name Tira. Now she did try to adopt a normal life, but she found this very difficult, and it was only a matter of time before she did snap, and that she did. One day she would free the adoptive family's pet bird, and was scolded by them for doing this. Unfortunately, Tira snapped at this point, and in fact murdered the entire family. Upon doing this, she realized that she couldn't give up the idea of murder and death. So after this, she would travel across the entirety of Europe, killing random individuals she came across for her own entertainment. And this leads up to her debut in Soul Calibur 3. Now during her killing sprees, Tira would catch word about Nightmare, and how the Azure Knight would travel from place to place much like her, massacring anyone in their sight to feed their hunger. And because of this, Tira thought of him as a kindred spirit, so she would actively try to seek him out so she could work with him. And only after a few days of traveling, she was able to find the Azure Knight and pledge her allegiance to him. And it's here where she learned of his plan, where they were supposed to destroy the spirit sword known as Soul Calibur and to feed Soul Edge souls so that it became stronger. And thus this would lead to her traveling once again to try and find individuals that were worthy and strong enough to be fed to the sword. So during this time, she would in fact kill many members of Yoshimitsu's clan and even come across Sophitia. Now the two would clash, and Tira would taunt Sophitia, as Tira herself was well aware of Sophitia's children, attempting to use that as leverage over her in battle. But Sophitia herself was able to notice something about Tira, and how she was nothing more than a distraught soul, killing just to give herself some form of happiness in life. And upon hearing this, Tira was deeply hurt, as no one had ever quite picked up on her emotions like that, and thus the battle would be left in a standstill. But Tira did say that this wasn't over, and that she would be coming for her children next. Now during the events of Soul Calibur 4, Tira is able to bear witness between the clash of Siegfried and Nightmare, and the colossal shockwaves that are caused by when Soul Calibur and Soul Edge hit each other. The waves of energy were so powerful that it caused dimensional rifts in the world, and up to a certain extent it actually affected Tira's mind, causing a conflict between her dual personalities as one was fighting the other. But eventually Tira's unstable state conquered the other, and thus she was returned back to being a heartless killing machine. Now when Tira traveled to Ostrheinsberg with Nightmare, she began to plot and plan with Nightmare ways they could win this final battle, and how they would have a backup plan if things went south. But Tira did believe that the battle was in the favor of Nightmare, as Siegfried had to battle him in Ostrheinsberg in his domain. Now as plans were being put together, Tira would seek out and kidnap Sophitia's daughter Pyrrha, taking the young girl and keeping her in close proximity to Soul Edge to the point where Pyrrha couldn't survive without it. So when Tira was confronted by Sophitia, she'd be blackmailed by her into working for them, because if Sophitia didn't follow her orders, then Pyrrha would die. Now during the Battle of Ostrheinsberg, Siegfried is able to defeat Nightmare and Soul Edge, leaving the weapon in shards. Now Tira is devastated by by this, as she was certain that Nightmare would survive. So across multiple years, she would travel across the world collecting the shards of Soul Edge, so that when she put it back together, Nightmare would return. But Nightmare didn't return in quite the way she had expected. Using Raphael's body as a catalyst to summon him, the Azure Knight wanted to use politics as a way of gaining the upper hand, which is kind of unheard of when you think that this being is in fact the Demon Knight Nightmare. So because of this, Tira would set out on her own personal quest for Soul Edge, to create a true and proper host for the sword. And that's where she set her eyes on Pyrrha once again. Now Pyrrha had no memory of Tira. It made the process of brainwashing her that much easier. You see, Tira framed Pyrrha for the murder of her fiance, and in Pyrrha's time of need, Tira would show up and not only free her, but give Pyrrha Sophitia's sword and shield. Now as the two were on the run, they would understandably be attacked as they did have a bounty on them. The fights were so frequent that Pyrrha eventually had to kill some of the attackers. And you see, this was part of Tira's plan, as Pyrrha had a shard of Soul Edge deep within her that was slowly being filled with dark energy by her killing people. So Tira was molding her into becoming the perfect host for Soul Edge. She plays Pyrrha against her brother Patroclus, and she is manipulating the two, since her brother is the new wielder of Soul Calibur. Now during a battle, Pyrrha is in fact able to defeat Nightmare and absorb the dark energy from him, becoming the new host of Soul Edge. So everything is going according to Tira's plan, as Soul Edge is now using destruction to gain its power and not politics. Now after doing this, Tira sees her job as done and does disappear for the rest of the story, so we don't really know what happens to this character from this point onwards. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Soul Calibur 5 story, Pyrrha and Patroclus are able to unite Soul Edge and Soul Calibur in Soul Embrace, effectively nullifying the swords and putting the two out of commission permanently, which brings an end to the original timeline. Now, Soul Calibur 6 being a reboot of the series, I will say that the likelihood of Tira in fact making it into the game is very high, and this is vastly due to her popularity and the fact that we've had Zaslamel appear in the game, as he was also introduced into the third Soul Calibur game. So it's clear here that in Soul Calibur 6, they'll be including fan favorite characters regardless of where they were put in timeline wise, which I believe is a great mix to have. So definitely expect to see a character trailer of Tira over the next coming months. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, as I've gone into quite a bit of detail here with Tira, as this character really does have a lot of layers going for her and has a very intriguing backstory. And I want to say thank you to everyone who voted for this video, as it was in fact tied with the Cassandra video. The reason why I made this one instead of the Cassandra one was because Tira was the other option in the previous week vote before. So clearly people really wanted to see this one. But in saying that, if you want to see Cassandra next week, put it down in the comments below. For those of you who don't know, we kind of have a voting system on this channel when it comes to what you guys want to see. Simply down in the comments below, comment a character you'd like to see for next week's video, and whichever one gets the most thumbs up will be the video that I make. So you know what to do down in the comments below. Anyway guys, before this video does wrap up, if possible, let's try getting it to about 500 likes, as a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. So by giving it a thumbs up, it helps out a ton. And if you want to go the extra step, we also have a Patreon set up, and a link for that will be down in the description below. Anyway guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.